Thanks very much to Joe and to Stuart and the Cork Kerry, Leo, for giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit today about the Southwest Lean Forum. We currently have about 250 members, mostly on LinkedIn. We are doing a lot of virtual once a month meetings at the moment. It's an opportunity for small, medium businesses as well as lean practitioners to share their issues and how we can network. We've had a couple of talks recently on the likes of problem solving and the lean techniques, and we do share lean advice freely, with each other. And there's also the opportunity with consultants who are here as well in the group. We also, at the moment, are trying to partner some students who are studying lean with maybe some people here might wish to avail of an opportunity to use students in greenbelt situations for projects, because these college students really are looking for an opportunity to partner with real life businesses. So there's a win-win for everyone there. As well as the Crawford School, we have film students at the moment who are looking to, use their application of their films, and there's an opportunity to network with maybe a few people here that might be interested in promoting their videos, which we've been doing on LinkedIn. You'll see a video here shortly, just which one of the students did on the Southwest Lean Forum. And I suppose just the last thing here, I'd just like to say, I'd like, if any of you wish to join us or get in contact with us, we have a Southwest Lean Forum LinkedIn page. And we have an email, southwestleanforum@gmail.com. And we will be doing some more on face-to-face, maybe a tour of G later on this year, and some other businesses, and an opportunity for people to network. So I'm going to pass you over to the video, and thanks very much for giving this opportunity, and wish you the best for Lean Week.
Hello and welcome to the Southwest Lean Forum. This is a Lean Forum based here in Southwest Ireland, primarily the Cork and Kerry region. My name is Rob Brosnan. I am the chairperson for this year. You will also see in the next slide people that are in the committee and well-known faces throughout the lean industry. The Southwest Lean Forum was created in 2018 by a working group consisting of representatives from educational, industry, government and public bodies. The strategic goal is to create an industry-led forum that facilitates the sharing of lean experiences and best practices for members in the Southwest region. And in our calendar here, we've a busy year ahead. Colleges start in September, so students, lean students, all welcome. We look for the opportunity to even partner some lean students with some businesses to do some greenbelt projects. So we're really excited about that opportunity. Also, there's a lot of national events with Enterprise Ireland happening over the next couple of months. So, looking forward to that. Also, we would like to meet people from micro businesses and startups in non-manufacturing areas such as retail, tourism, artisan businesses, supply chain, and service industries. We are eager to assist with lean tools, help network people for greater improvement in their businesses. Here is a list of our existing members, and from September we are actively growing the Southwest Lean Forum. So if you would like to come and join us, talk to us, be a part of our lean journey, you may contact us either through Lean Business Ireland website or contact us in Gmail, southwestleanforum@gmail.com. We're looking forward to meeting you, talking with you, and sharing our lean journey.
Lean from micro is the best thing that we've done in years here. It's a very new concept for any business, I think. I had to explain to our staff that we were doing this thing called Lean. One of the girls thought it was a fitness program. Lean is a way of making your business run more efficiently and more effectively. So efficiency, I would go with the first one, having all your tools to hand. As in any trade or any business at all, your tools to hand. We introduced a system where we got little pouches and we have all our little bits and pieces that we need. These are strapped around our waist. We have scissors, pens, thermometers, highlighters, waterproof pens, nail clippers, hand sanitizer, absolutely like the kitchen sink except it's strapped around your waist. So instead of reaching around, running around looking, and it's for something, it's everybody's responsibility to have their own and to make sure it's maintained and not lost.
So the pouches are so handy. Like if you're looking for anything like a thermometer or anything, you don't need to go looking around the room. It's literally right there, so it is.
Absolutely everybody should do it. You don't even have to be in business to do it. It's the way you run a house. It's the way you run a farm. It's the way you run a business. It's a way of looking at your life then as well. It's a no-brainer. It really is a no-brainer.
According to Emma Plant there, lean is it's a no-brainer. It saves you time, saves you money, saves you in all different type of aspects within your business. And that's what we're going to hear about a little bit across the session today, of how people have made savings and made changes in their business by using lean and by applying lean principles within their business. I want to first of all thank Joe and Rob for opening up the session today and for having us here. I want to start with a question for you guys, or one or two questions for you guys, just to get you thinking. Can you think of somewhere across your day where you're losing time? And perhaps you're losing time for inefficiency. You're losing time for, well, the process is not set up right. You're losing time dealing with customer complaints or queries or damaged items or warranty work. And if you want, just jot down how much time do you think you're losing in the day due to inefficiency or bad process design. And again, if you feel, pop that time that you're losing into the chat. Let's get an idea of, in that 8-hour day, that the mythical 8-hour day that we actually do in our working lives, how much time are we actually losing? And the next question then is, what's stopping us from making these fixes? Okay, so what's stopping us from making the fixes to stop us losing that time? So I see some people putting in times of half an hour, 1 to 2 hours wasted across the day due to inefficiency. What's stopping us from fixing it? Why haven't we started to address those issues within our business or within our process? My name is Stuart Nelson. As you probably know already, you've had several emails from me inviting you to the event today and sending you various reminders. I'm a lean and leadership coach with Jigsaw Better Business, and we work on Jigsaw Better Business is an award-winning local Enterprise Ireland and local Enterprise Office and Enterprise Ireland lean service provider. And we work with great businesses and we help them to be just a little bit better, okay? And we do that primarily through lean and through the Lean for Micro program at the moment. Because that's what the Lean for Micro program is. It's about starting to look inwards on your business, okay? It's about starting to focusing in on, what is it that I do in my business? How can I do it better and how can I improve it? And the last time you looked inside at your business, what is it that you saw when you looked in at your business? Was it perfect meetings? Was it perfect workspaces? Was everything clean, neat and tidy? Was there a place for everything? And was everything in that place? Or was it a little bit more like this, where there was clutter and disorder, where there was time lost looking for equipment, material, files or folders? Are you or somebody else in your business, more than likely it's us or it's you, the type of person that says, sure, I know where everything is. I can put my hand on anything within a minute or so. Do our processes and our teamwork and our communications, do they flow in perfect harmony and unison, like the guys on the left here? Or does that teamwork and communication fall flat in its face, like the guys on the right? And when you saw problems within your business, how did you go about solving those problems? But probably more importantly from Lean is, how did you go about defining those problems? Because that's what Lean is. Lean is a structured approach to problem solving. And it's centered around this belief that waste exists in all processes. And our aim is to eliminate that waste and only have steps that add value to the customer. And that's a nice, simple, clean definition of what Lean is. The belief that waste exists in all processes, and our aim is to eliminate that waste and only have steps that add value to our customers. Because Lean is simple, okay? It's simple to understand, simple kind of concept, but it's not always easy to implement because Lean requires change. And we all know that change is something that other people should do. It's never something that we should do. Lean requires problems to solve, which for most businesses is not too much of a problem. It requires tools and techniques, but again, not too many of them, especially as we start out. The most important thing from Lean is our attitudes and our behaviors. It requires good leadership from us as business owners. And even if we're sole traders, we're still leaders within our business. We still have to lead ourselves to go through these processes. So leadership, you don't have to have a team to be a leader. You just have to be leading your own business. So it requires good leadership from yourself. And it requires a bit of a relentlessness, a commitment that's relentless, and also a growth mindset. And that growth mindset, or that Lean mindset, is a belief that we can be better, okay? So we can do what we do in our business, but we can do it in a better way. Because that's what Lean is. It's doing what you do already in your business. And I imagine for the 76 or 77 or 100 businesses that register today and the 76 that are on the call, you are successful businesses already, okay? Nobody's going to come and teach you how to, as Alison would say, you don't teach your granny how to suck eggs. So nobody's going to come in and tell you how to do your business or be an expert in what you already are an expert in. But Lean finds out ways to do what you do successfully, but find ways to do it faster, find ways to do it better, and find ways to do it together with all of your team and include all of your team within it. And Lean starts with either a vision or a problem. And for most people, it starts with a problem. And for a lot of people, it actually starts with a problem that they don't even know they have. And you might be asking yourself, how can somebody from the outside come into a business that they know nothing about and see problems within it? And it comes back to our definition here, the simple definition of what Lean is, the belief that waste exists in all processes, and our aim is to eliminate that waste and only have steps that add value. And they're the two key points, waste and value. Now, if you're anything like these ladies here, in the morning when you tumble out of bed and you stumble to the kitchen and you pour yourself that first cup of ambition, you yawn and you stretch and you try to come to life, you would have a fair expectation that all of the work that you do, all of the contribution or the effort that you make, the customer actually values and the work is worthwhile. But for us as Lean thinkers, we would believe that only about 5% of the work or the effort we expend, the customer actually values. That leaves a whopping 95% of effort that is non-value add or the customer doesn't want to pay for. And this comes back to the different types of activities that we do within our day. The first types of activities are value-adding activities. And value-adding activities are anything that brings our product closer to its final form. It changes the product in some way, or our service. It changes the form, fit, or function of that. And it's generally an activity that the customer is willing to pay for. On the other hand, we've non-value-adding activity, and that doesn't bring it closer to its final form. It doesn't improve it or some way, or it's a function or an aspect of what we do that we have to do a second time because it didn't get through on the first time. It's rework or defect correction or something like that. And it's generally an activity that our customer is not willing to pay for. Okay, and in most cases, they fall into the category of waste when we talk about it from lean. Because that's where lean is focused on. It's focused on process, and probably more accurately, it's focused on process improvement. Now, traditional process improvement will look to go in at all of the value-adding work that you do, and it will try to find ways of doing value-adding work faster. Okay, and that's no problem. That's okay. That's a good approach to do, and that's something we do in lean as well. So look at the things that you do, the things that are high value within the business, and you find out ways to do them faster. Okay, where lean is more focused, or also focused on, is finding all the things that you do across your day that do not add value. Okay, and finding ways to eliminate them from the day, therefore reducing the amount of time that you have to spend on them, and increasing the amount of time that you can actually focus in on doing value-added tasks. And we do this by trying to identify the second part of this definition. And the second part of this definition is about waste. And waste is any step in a process that a client's not willing to pay for. It adds no value to the end product or to the client. And for us in lean, these 8 wastes actually come into this handy acronym of downtime. And downtime stands for defects, overproduction, waiting, non-utilized talent, transport, inventory, motion, and excess processing. So a defect is anything that requires rework or is not acceptable product to the finished customer. Okay, that's not just in a manufacturing or a physical environment, that's also in a service environment, paperwork, missing information, missing air codes, anything that prompts us to have to do an extra step because something is missing. That's essentially a defect that's come into our process. Next up, we have overproduction, so producing sooner, faster, or in greater quantities than our customer actually demanded. Then we have waiting. One of the most common wastes we see in our businesses is waiting for something to happen. People, work, or equipment inactivity, waiting a response, waiting for information, waiting on a parts to come in, waiting on components, waiting on a driver, can appear anywhere. Next up is non-utilized talent, so failing to make the best use of the people within our teams, their skills, their creativity, or their knowledge on a particular project. Then we have transport or transportation, so the unnecessary movement of information, work, or equipment between processes. Next up, we have inventory, so having too much project material or too much stock on hand than the customer needs right now. Then we have motion, and different than transport. Transport is the movement of our work in progress from one place to another. Motion is the movement of our operators or our people or our machines reaching or bending or turning to have to complete tasks. And then excess processing, so doing more than what is required to complete the task. So over fulfilling an order or over delivering for the customer when the customer doesn't require. Excess processing sometimes comes in because of a defect, because we have to do an extra step, and sometimes we include that in the waste of excess processing. And they're the 8 wastes of lean. And if you looked across your day and you looked across your processes and you look to see where time is wasted, it's wasted in one of those categories of the 8 wastes. Because remember, that's what we said lean is all about. Lean is all about process, and it's all about process improvement. A process is a combination of people, tools, material, methods where an input is converted to an output. So something like flour converts to something like bread when you take it through a 7, 10, 15, 20 step process. Somebody provides an input to that process and somebody receives the output of that process. And really where companies have started to make the gains is they started to look at what they do and document them as a process, and then start to see, is there waste or are there opportunities to improve within their process? Lean is not a silver bullet. It's not going to solve all of the problems within your business. Okay, it's not going to fix everything for you. It can only look at the way you do your business and find ways to find gains by becoming more efficient within them. But what most businesses gain from becoming lean or starting to think lean is they start to learn to see. They start to see waste, they start to see inefficiency. And once you see it, it's very hard to unsee it, and it's very hard to not change it. Lean is about process improvement. It's about solving problems within your business. It's about identifying and eliminating waste within your processes. And it's about creating stable, repetitive processes that perhaps we can train people on, and then we can improve on them as well. And that's what these next two businesses have done. So I'm delighted to welcome Billy Allen from Allen Wells and Bridget Farrell from All Talk Training, who are going to share their experience of working on the Lean for Micro program. So I might start with Bridget and ask you just to introduce yourself and All Talk Training, Bridget.
Good morning, everybody. So my name is Bridget, as you know, and I'm the founder of All Talk Training. Essentially, we're a business that helps companies with multicultural teams to communicate, have smooth communication within the organization. So we do this by delivering business English training or English training for the workplace and intercultural communication training. I founded All Talk Training in 2017, and since then, since the very beginning, most of our training has been delivered online. And also most of our business is export business. So we're an Irish company, but yes, most businesses export.
If you ever needed a lesson in a 60-second pitch or introduce your business,
God.
I think I could safely say, Bridget, that was a masterclass. I'm only sorry I wasn't taking more notes at the time. You covered everything. It was perfect. Billy, I'm sorry, but you've got to follow that. Yeah,
I've a lot to live up to. So yeah, my name is Billy Allen from Allen Weld. We're steel fabricators, and we can trace our history back to 1875. So it's a family business handed down through the generations. That's agri, equine, and custom fabrication. So we manufacture a range of standard products.
Yes, coming in and out. Is that for everybody? Billy, we missed you just at the end there. I might just give you a chance just to check if there's something else running on your internet, and I'll go back to Bridget for the moment. Yeah. Bridget, tell me how you got involved in the Lean program.
After some looking at it and thinking about it for quite a while, I would say, I eventually decided to sign up in September 2021. I think it was September, and I learned about it through the local enterprise office communications, and I actually, first learned about the Lean for Micro program probably in 2018 or 2019. And like I said, for a long time I had been, is that for us? Is that something that would benefit us? Do we fit the type of company that would benefit from it? So I spent a long time thinking about it and wondering, and then eventually I took the plunge last year.
And you told me when we spoke that you actually attended one of these events before, and you were unsure whether it was for your type of business, but
yes, yeah, exactly. So I attended it actually in March 2020 when we were all starting to do fist bumps and elbow bumps and not sure what was around the corner. And actually at that event, it was probably the start of, I think this could be something that is for us, or that we are also the type of company that would benefit from this. But then of course, what happened after that, I just didn't come back to it until 2021. I didn't come back to the idea of taking part in the Lean for Micro program. So but at that event, the businesses that were there some of them were quite similar to ours, and that really opened my eyes to it kind of changed the preconceptions that I had about Lean, and it was a very, very useful and informative event.
Yeah, we were all very nervous that night. We didn't know whether we were kind of half shaking hands, we were elbow bumping, we were wondering what apocalyptic event was coming down the road at us. Billy, I think we might have you back there. You had done a previous Lean for Micro on this iteration a few years back in the
right. Stuart, I might just turn off my video. Apologies for that. Yes, we had.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, we had taken part in a previous number of years ago, and focused actually purely on the office side and bringing efficiency into the office and order workflow and that, which we got great benefit out of. Certainly, we were converts to as a result of that. So when Cathal spoke to us about that there was another one of these, we certainly jumped at the chance.
And the previous focus was on the office. This
Yes.
time round, so you knew what lean was, you knew that it helped in the office. Your brother was an advocate of it as well. This time round, what kind of challenges were you facing in the business that you felt actually it's something we need to bring into the workshop environment here?
We had two main reasons. The first was it was a great problem to have, and that was that we had a very full order book, but our lead times as a result growing. We knew that we couldn't continue with the status quo, so initiative came at just the right time for us on that. So it was how are we going to deliver value to the customer? So yeah, the second reason, I suppose, was over the last number of years, we knew that our current manufacturing, while we thought it was okay, we knew it could be better, and we just didn't know how was the best way to implement change and drive efficiency. And I suppose we were looking for a bit of help in that.
Billy,
Stuart, you're on
Billy,
mute.
can you hear us okay?
Apologies. I think it's my internet here. It's patchy. It's coming and going.
Okay. So what I might do, Billy, is I might talk to Bridget, and then what I can do is we can re-record our part later on, and we can share that with people at a later point, which might be the best thing to do if it's coming in and out. Bridget, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, Stuart, yes.
Okay, perfect. So what challenges were you facing in your business as you started to as you signed up for the program, and you got involved in it eventually after being to multiple events?
So I suppose when I signed up for it, the thing that was front of mind for me was some of our processes around onboarding clients and onboarding trainees. You know, we were getting, again, quite a full order book. And, while our administrative processes had been, okay for where we had been up to that point, it was really getting to a point where, our processes just weren't fit for purpose anymore and weren't fit for scale. And therefore it was really taking a lot of time out of my day to kind of, deal with these processes. And, there's so much waste in that. And, I think that was really holding the business back. And that was the thing that was probably front of my mind when I applied for the program. But then when I started to get into, started to work with our lean coach, it was also clear, and I was aware of that, but I didn't know that lean would help with that. Was really there was a bit of a bit of work on mindset required, I think, within the organization, and also very much with myself. And before the pandemic, we had been in a very kind of exciting period for the business. We were kind of changing the business model a little bit, and when March 2020 happened, then we just had to, we went into survival mode initially, and then we were doing quite well then after that as well, but it just never quite got back to this real growth mindset that I suppose that was with the people behind the processes in the business, including myself. And that was something that we worked on in the very first session with our lean coach, and that turned out to be one of the big things, I suppose. So not just looking at our, all our processes, but looking at the people behind the processes.
And
yeah.
what do you think that limitation was, or what was it that was holding you back there, that became evident in that first session that needed to be addressed before you went to the process? Whether, as you put it, it's the person behind the process.
Yeah.
So what was it, do you think, that was holding you back there?
I think it was just a little bit of a fear and a fixed mindset that had crept in over the period from when the pandemic hit until we started the program. And I was aware that this was a problem. Maybe I couldn't name it, but I knew that I needed, I would benefit from some kind of help in that area, or some support in the area. I think it was really just this kind of fixed mindset, and I'd be very aware of that, and a growth mindset is something that we really try to promote within our company. And so, but I think it was just with myself that we weren't just able to reach our full potential, because there was just, maybe it was something that chipped away over the time with the pandemic or something, I'm not really sure. But I think it was really, just that there was definitely a more fixed mindset there that just had to be addressed. And yeah, it was transformative. Big word to use, but I would definitely say it warrants it here.
And I think, we see it. We see it a lot. I personally see it a lot, and I think I've experienced it. It's people talk about a fear of failure, but I think in small businesses, there's also a fear of success. What if it works, and what if we can't meet that demand, or what if we can't perform at the level that we said we could? So it's that fear. It's not just a fear of failure. It's a fear of, it's that fear of success. So tell me some of the things, or the challenges after you did the initial work with Mick, and that kind of coaching approach about the person. What were the challenges? Once you got past reframing the thought process, what were the practical challenges in the business that needed to be addressed?
I suppose it again came back to the processes and how they affected our time and how we used our time, and really what was our time management really like, and where were we adding value? What were the processes that are the tasks that we were doing that were value add tasks? And I remember doing that exercise in the group training before actually starting the coaching, about value and non-value activities. And it just sticks in your head so well. And even when you're emptying the dishwasher, you start to think, what movement here is value and what's not non-value. And so that really was something that stayed with us throughout the program. And therefore, the challenges that we were able to address, thinking about that was really, what are we doing that is value add, and what are we doing that's maybe not so value add, and how can we reduce the time spent on things that are non-value add, and how can we make sure we maintain and efficiently carry out the tasks that are value add. So there was just an overall, I suppose, look at where we could be using our time, our resources, our people more efficiently. So also, the roles and responsibilities, who was doing what in the organization, and what made most sense, not just for the business as it was at the time, but, we're really going through a growth phase. So, what is going to be good for, a month's time, 2 months' time, and 6 months' time, and even beyond that. And that was a challenge that we had to kind of look into as well.
That future proofing the business is kind of important. It's planning for future capacity and future growth, and making sure the processes that we put in place are capable. Tell me some of the specific changes that you made to help address with that.
So we, I suppose, reassigned some tasks in terms of the roles and responsibilities of, who is doing what. We also, and we started using new software, training management and learning management software, CourseCo. And, it was really, this was a big thing that was, that I knew we had to do as well. But it's quite a big decision, to implement software for a small business, because the last thing you want to do is, start using new software. Everybody's trained up in it, everybody's set up to use it, and the training is running from it, and there's a problem, and you just don't want to be changing the software that you're using after a short period of time. And so lean, and going through it with the lean coach really allowed us to be very clear about what we needed to understand our current processes, and to understand what we really needed software to do in order to best serve our business and to make our processes more efficient, and our days more efficient. And that was a big change for us as well, and we're very, very happy with that. We also I think
that software solution, and I know we had spoke about this, I think right at our very first call.
Yes.
We spoke about this. I mean, we could give a shout out. It's a Limerick-based company, is it?
They're a Limerick-based company, and it's just super for us because not only do they have...
You can say their name. It isn't RTE.
Yeah, no, I know. So the company is CourseCo. They're just the whole experience with them has been really fantastic. What's really wonderful for us as well is that the software addresses so many of our needs and desires and wants, so to speak, and what we would like a software to do. But also there is option for customization, which is so important, again, not just for the business right now, but going into the future, that we want to know that we're not limited by the software that we're currently using, that we it can kind of grow, so to speak, with us, and it can continue to help us grow into the future.
It's interesting. An issue or a challenge we come up, something we hear a lot when we go into businesses is, we're having this bespoke product developed for us, and I always shudder in anxiety when I hear that, because I think it's and this is where the layers are important. I think this is what you've tipped on here, is that you've got to get your processes right first. Okay, in a manual perspective, and whether that's pen and paper or it's Excel or whatever you're currently using, you've got to understand your processes and your workflow first, and then you start to question, well, can it be made more efficient? Yep. First of all, so can we get to A to B faster with what we currently do, and then can we get to A to B, using a software tool or a new machine or a new piece of kit or something like that. And then there's the other question is, do we need to even go to B at all? Is it required? Is important as well. So I think the work in terms of understanding the processes first is key. And had you got those? Is that part of the work that you did with Mick? As part of the process, is that actually getting to get the processes tightened up first and foremost, and then understanding what your future growth might be?
Yes, so it was understanding, gathering data was a big thing, and it sounds, like a big thing, but it was really just writing down what were we doing, really becoming, I suppose, very aware of what we were doing every day, where were we spending our time, and who was doing what, how much time was being spent on this, what, was this a value add activity or not? So it's just gathering all that data to understand how much time were we spending, carrying out a specific task, how valuable that task was, how necessary it was, if it can be made more efficient, so that process of gathering data about everything that we were doing was really important to really, be able to kind of step out, I suppose, of the everyday and look at it from bird's eye view and think, okay, so, what can be removed here? What do we really need to keep and to improve? What do we, what's important, but it can be made more, not essential, but it's important still to do, but it can be made more efficient. So we're not spending the time on things that aren't value add. Sorry, Stuart.
That's perfect. No, that's perfect. I realize I let you go there. I let you off because I mean, one of the things I took from our conversation before this was, the passion that you have for what you do, and perhaps it was the as you mentioned about the mindset, but even the having knowing that the processes or the capabilities or the competencies within the business were more than capable to actually get what we're passionate about out into the world. And no, look, things are going to go wrong from time to time, but know that it would work, and we're not going to make a holy show over it.
And I think that was a big thing. It was really identifying also, what are we doing really well? It wasn't, it's not like somebody coming into the business and saying, you're doing everything wrong, you have to change everything, I'm here to just change your business and make it better. It was coming in and what's working really well, what is really positive about the business, what's good about the processes that you currently have in place. It wasn't just a case of tearing everything apart, so to speak. It was really, okay, identifying what is working really well and how do we make sure that you get the most benefit from that, so to speak.
That's fantastic. I just noticed on the call here as well is perhaps a source of inspiration to a lot of people who've signed up for the Lean for Micro program, who tend to reference. So Rosie, I hope you don't mind. I might just bring you in. You've done how many Lean for Micro programs, would you say, at this point?
I think I've lost count, Stuart, to be honest, but we are talking about 5 years worth of Lean advocacy. I think we try to do at least one big project per year, but I'm glad to say that we're at the point now where we continually address where we can make a Lean improvement. And so we're working on small projects. It doesn't have to be a huge sort of 12-week type endeavor, even anecdotally, my developer was talking to me there about 2 weeks ago, and he said, I've been working with the academic team on a new process for how we mark our learners. And so in our business, we teach English speakers to become English teachers. And on one of our courses, they have to get marked 3 times at different sections of the course. And so we would generally talk about what Lean project we're working on as a company as a whole. And here, working away in the background, was a developer and an academic person doing their own Lean gig and completely sort of revolutionizing the process to make it so efficient that anybody could essentially see at a glance where any learner is at in their process. And as Bridget was saying there, it's about knowing what you do well, and then about also addressing what you're not doing so well. And the marking tracker, I would avoid it at all costs, and I could sit here and tell you about all the wonderful projects that I've worked on in our business about Lean, and I'm not going to tell you about that learning tracker because I think it's hideous, but the guys just went ahead and tackled it, and they are now running it alongside the existing tracker to test and to measure that it's working, and they are excited in the next few weeks to move over to this way better. They're moving essentially from a Google Sheet to a free piece of software called Notion. And so, yeah, sorry, long-winded way of telling you countless projects. I've now infected the whole team with a passion for Lean. In a way, it's like a very impersonal stick that we use to beat each other with. And I'll explain that a little bit. In the past, people could take it personally if we ever said, is that the best way to do this task? Or maybe somebody might say, are you still doing that? That took you 2 hours. Whereas now in Premier TEFL, we can ask each other, is that the most Lean way to do it? And it is a non-confrontational, non-emotional way to say, let's all look at this together.
I actually, somebody else froze there as well. I'm not sure if it was me or somebody else. It must be the gremlins are in today. I've a comment in from Billy, who sends us apologies for his poor internet connection, but we won't make any we won't give out about rural broadband or nationwide broadband at the moment. I mean, for him, the biggest takeaway was the change in mindset, okay, and that they started to implement strategies to achieve flow in the manufacturing of their products. But it was that mindset change of moving from batch production into kind of smaller order or single piece flow as well. And for Billy as well, one of the things that he really took from the program was that we've gone from the frying pan of COVID into the fire of global uncertainty and fuel shortages and general inflation and issues, as well as labour shortage. I mean, one of the key issues for the next 10 years in Ireland is going to be a shortage of labour, shortage of workforce. So for Billy, he felt that, you know, getting leaner now, or starting to apply lean, was starting to offset some of the risks of that and build in that extra capacity into what they do to address the rising material costs, labour shortages and wages, and, you know, generally just make things a bit more agile. Bridget, would you say that's the same for yourself? Are you in a better position now going into this next kind of 5-10 year period?
Absolutely. I think, you know, again, it's just a total change of mindset. I think that's the biggest thing. And, you know, it's not just within the, it's not just, you know, the leader or of the organization or a leader of a department in the organization. It trickles down to everybody within the organization. But as a leader in these times, you know, when you constantly, I suppose, thinking in a lean way, you know, it's easier to understand, I suppose, what might need to change, you know, in the short to medium term, to be able to picture, I suppose, you know, what are we going to do if this happens, and how can we, you know, approach this problem? I think, you know, the lean approach and the lean mindset, so to speak, just allows you to look at issues and uncertainty in a different way, you know, and kind of breaking it down to look at it in different pieces, rather than viewing it as just one issue that I don't really know where to start, you know, to address it. And I think that's, you know, it's forever helpful, you know. It just and like Rosie said, you know, I mean, every year you could do it, but, you know, you could do a program in lean, but also it's when you're not doing it, you're still thinking in that way. So you know, this mindset, or the lean mindset, carries through to, you know, when things are good, but also when things, you know, are a little bit uncertain, and you know, help you to think about the issues that you may face in a different way and a more helpful way.
That's great. Thanks, Bridget. There's a question come in there about an online toolkit. Lean, there's lots of online resources for lean. I'm not sure of a specific online toolkit. We have a series of templates and tools which we send out after the session today to everyone who signed up, which will have information about the 8 wastes and 5S and things that you can print out and pop on the wall around the office as well. Lean is something that can be done online, absolutely can be done online, but it's got to be at wherever your work is located. That's where lean is done. If that is online, it's done online. If it's on the factory floor, it's done on the factory floor as well. But lots of resources online, and we share some with you afterwards as well. Just as we wrap up, Rosie, I might just get to, now I might put a time limit on this, Rosie, as well, but in one sentence, what would you say to anybody on the call today thinking of getting involved in lean or signing up for the lean programs, which we'll give a bit more information on now in a second?
There is nobody sitting in this room on this call today who can afford not to do this program. It's as simple as that. None of this is rocket science. This is the beauty of it. Everything is so logical and straightforward. And when you are given some of the tips and the tools from Stuart or anybody else in the team, there's like an aha moment goes off, and you can see a clearer way to do this. I could talk to you all day about it, but there's nobody in the room can afford not to do it. I promise you. If you want to save time, make more money, you need to sign up today.
Rosie, thanks a million. Thanks for dropping in at short notice. I'm sorry for picking on you. I saw your name there, and I knew you'd slot in handy enough. Bridget, to yourself, I might just get you to mute yourself there, Rosie, and I'll unspotlight you. Bridget, to yourself, what would you say to anyone thinking about taking the steps to get involved?
I would say don't think about it as long as I did, for sure. One of the things that I keep thinking is, thank God, you know, why didn't we do this before? We did it, but thank God that we are doing it now and we know about it, and you know that we have done it. Like Rosie said, there's no, you know, I suppose I thought before taking part in the program that it was certain businesses might benefit from it more than others. And, you know, for example, you know, Billy's business, like it couldn't be more different to our business. Alan Weld just couldn't be more different. And I thought Lean might be more suited to Alan Weld, for example, than us. There's no business that would not benefit from it. And you know, I think the best picture for this is the caveman that you showed, Stuart, with the square wheels and someone offering him, you know, a round wheel, and you're saying you're too busy. If you're too busy now, you know, to do it, then you have to do it. So if you say I have no time or I'm too busy, then that's the #1 reason why you should actually do it sooner rather than later.
So that's I mean, that's probably a good point to leave us on. Is that? Let me just share my screen again for everyone to pop that image back up. Yeah, it's for all businesses. And as you said, you know, the Billy's businesses is very different, you know, and all businesses are very different. The only businesses who it doesn't work for are those who can't commit the time and the resources to it. And those like Bridget, like Billy, like Rosie, and the 1,500 other companies that have done it so far, if you commit the time to the program, because it takes time, it's heavily subsidized, but it takes time, well, then you'll get the returns on it. But just in the last few minutes, I'm going to give you some information about how to get involved in Lean. But before that, Bridget, if you just have a look across the gallery view there, if everybody could give Bridget a round of applause or a thumbs up, and to Rosie and to Billy, even though his internet let him down, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for sharing. The importance of people sharing their experiences is really key, because nothing tells us what Lean is like rather than the people who've actually gone through it. So thank you guys so much for your time today. A question we're often asked is Lean for my business? And absolutely, yeah, Lean is for your business. Lean is for all businesses. It's for butchers and bakers and candlestick makers. And I don't just say that because of rhyme, it's because we've actually worked with butchers and bakers and candlestick makers across the Lean program. There is an open call for Lean for Micro nationwide. It's a significantly subsidized program offered by the local enterprise offices to clients. It is a competitive program, so you do have to apply and you have to be approved to do it. So it's not an open course, but it is open to all businesses to apply for it. You can go onto the national portal, localenterprise.ie/Lean. And I also link up here for the chat, and I think Veronica will pop those links into the chat for you as well. Following on from the session today, what we'll do is we'll circulate these links again, so you'll have access to them as well. The next program in the Southwest is taking place on the 30th of March and the 6th of April. There's 2 half-days of group workshops. They're scheduled for those dates, and then there's 5 half-days of individual Lean coaching. And again, I think what we've picked up from Bridget is that it's not just about the process. There is a coaching element to this as well, about supporting the people and supporting the people to change as well. Lean gives you kind of an opportunity to stand out from the crowd as well and do things differently. With the CRO, there's 272,000 businesses registered in Ireland. 91.4% of them, or over 250,000 of them, are micro enterprises. That's us, okay? We're micro enterprises, less than 10 people. We make up nearly 92% of all of the businesses in the country. Yet only about 1,000 of those businesses have taken up the offer of doing Lean, having completed 1,500 projects with savings reported of about 17 million euros across those projects as well. So there's a really unique opportunity here to become a more competitive business, to safeguard your business for the future and to make some savings along the way as well. But for all of us as business owners, we know there's more to life than money, especially when you don't have money. There's more to life than money. But for us as small business owners, it's really important to get home on time, be able to finish at 5 o'clock, not have to work weekends, to be able to spend time with our families. It's important for us to improve our own well-being and that of our teams, because we're under more pressure with different types of roles. It helps us create more structured processes. We're working smarter. But really, when we reduce our costs like that, it gives us more agile and more competitive businesses that are really more secure, and the jobs within those businesses are more secure in the future. I started out by asking you today about, how much time did you waste across the day, But just to kind of give you a simple example, if you were to try and fix that, if you were to say, right, if I waste 10 minutes somewhere in my day, what can I do to eliminate that, or what difference would that make? If we fix that 10-minute waste within our day, what happens is that 10 minutes per day, 5 days in the week, is 50 minutes per week. 50 minutes per week by 48 weeks, we'll give ourselves some holidays, is 2,400 minutes per year. And 2,400 minutes per year is 40 hours per year lost if we're wasting 10 minutes per day. And as I saw in the chat, some people reckon they were wasting 30 minutes, 45, 50 minutes, an hour, 2 hours per day due to being disorganized or having an inefficient process or having defects. And they're the small kind of gains that can be achieved by starting to focus in on continuous improvement, doing what Bridget and what Billy did and what Rosie did, by saying, what are the things that are tripping me up in my business and how can I go about improving them? Okay, guys, I will let you go. It's gone 12 o'clock. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you again to Bridget and to Rosie and to Billy and to Rob and to Joe for kicking us off, and to all of the local enterprise office people for having us here and for offering out the program. And we hopefully will see you in the next program in the end of March.